Since he emerged as Russia's leader after Boris Yeltsin's handover of power years ago, Vladimir Putin has exerted all his efforts to revive the country, which came into the former Soviet Union's key legacy, namely its vast nuclear arsenal. In his latest remarks and in retrospect, Putin wished that the Soviet Union had never collapsed. Polls show that many Russians also crave for the days when the Soviets were regarded as a superpower alongside the US.
This doesn't increase tensions. On the contrary, this signifies that our country is on a fairly high and strong level in terms of arms, and this is a kind of defensive reaction of the country in case of some aggression. This means, in my view, that the country's leader clearly understands the country's strengths.
The Russian leader has repeatedly been accused by the Western mainstream media of seeking to revive the Soviet Union or to turn Russia into a Tsar-like empire. Opponents of the West's policy on Putin's Russia say Western governments, most notably the US, have growingly become antagonistic to Moscow since the rise of Putin, as they want Russia to always be weak.
For the Russians, on the one hand, the end of the communist rule is indeed seen by many as the return to Russia's historical roots, which are Eastern Orthodox Christian on the one hand, and traditionalist, patriarchal on the other, as opposed to the communist episode, which denied both. But at the same time, in terms of geopolitics, as Putin himself said 17 years ago, it was a tragedy of the highest order.
Since Yeltsin's disappearance from Russia's political scene, the US and the West as a whole have tried to depict the former Soviet Union's largest and most powerful republic as a regional power. Putin has foiled all those efforts by playing an active role around the globe, especially in the strategic region of the Middle East. Putin's regret over the disintegration of the Soviet Union may have deliberately been designed to send a message to the West that Russia is back in the international arena forcefully and that it is playing an effective role which cannot be denied. Western observers believe that Putin's tough stance on the US and its allies stemmed from the fact that he resented their behavior toward Moscow following the fall of the Soviet Union.
This was done strictly, I would say, for the domestic audience, and if there is an implied message to the outside world, it is that parts of the Soviet Union bordering Russia have a special importance for Russia and should not be treated as terra incognita, as some kind of open territory where geopolitical competition can proceed unhindered.
A few days ago, the Russian president said the country has developed a new cruise missile that is capable of dodging Western anti-missile shields, and that it has tested an array of new nuclear arms along with missiles which are capable of reaching any point on Earth. Putin also warned that Russia will regard a nuclear attack on its allies as an attack on itself and will immediately respond. Some Western media outlets have tried to play down Putin's remarks or his unveiling of Russia's new weapons, saying all his remarks were nothing more than a plea for attention.
Some analysts are suggesting you've tested it and it's failed, and that's why you only showed animations of it today and have not yet produced any actual videos.
Are you talking about ICBMs?
Yes, the one that you claim renders defense systems useless.
As a matter of fact, every single weapon system discussed today easily surpasses and avoids an anti-missile defense system.
But you've tested it?
The test was excellent. Some of them still have to be fine-tuned and worked on. Others are already available to the troops and already are battle-ready.
Recent tensions between Russia and the US have caused worries in the international community. US President Donald Trump has repeatedly said he wants good ties with Russia and Putin, but it seems Trump is at the mercy of Russia haters within the US ruling system.
As far as the United States establishment, the United States permanent state, or deep state, if you will, is concerned, the Cold War has never stopped. And this has nothing to do with Trump and his stated intention to improve relations with Russia, which I personally believe were sincere. But he was overcome by the vested interests of the military-industrial complex and of the congressional duopoly.
Putin has shown that he will not give in to pressures, no matter how tremendous they are. He has also proven that many predictions about him and what he is up to have turned out to be wrong.